Yes, indeed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. This is the Apex Online Racing Project Cars 2 GT3 PC Elite League Season 8, Round 4 here at Brands Hatch. My name is King-Kodiak, and I will be your commentator throughout this evening's race. Our Lord Fizzy is not very well today, so I have got the reins all to myself. I hopefully sound far better than I did last time. Anyone that was present in the stream last week will know that I sounded a little bit different. I've been a little bit unwell leading to that point. Now, this is the first race of this league post-patch. The patch came out yesterday, it was pretty damn hefty, and from what I'm told, it's pretty well shaken up how people feel about their previous setups. And I quote, the previous setups are killed. So we will see exactly how that transpires into today's race. Now, one thing I have noticed is that the people's engine noises I'm watching are considerably louder than they were before. So do let me know if that is too loud or if I am inaudible. I've had a quick look at the levels and they seem to be okay from my side. We have got 15 drivers with us. This is the practice session that we are just waiting to come to a close. So, of course, Stu is at the top of this with a 128.5. And as you can see, it is traditional British weather and it is chucking it down. So we are going to see the live track aspects in action in this particular race. Now, I took part in a practice race yesterday for Apex Online Racing, and let's just say it didn't go well. From my perspective, the actual server ran perfectly well. And I think Twitch is having a bit of a mare, as for anyone trying to watch this live, I can't actually use the chat box. So I don't know what's going on there. I also can't see any chat going on. I might have another double check of that. Now, the qualifying session is normally 15 minutes long. It's been extended to 20 minutes long because of the weather conditions. Now, what has also been identified is people going out early may have a bit of an advantage, as even though the weather does carry on from session to session, so how the track was at the end of the practice session we've just seen, it should remain so for the qualifying session as well. However, drivers may well be held for a period of time until given the okay to go. Now, I've just seen two drivers jump on board. We have just gained Nismo and E. Claessens. Claessens is in a Mercedes, unless he has joined in the wrong car. So Nismo's in the correct car. He's in that tiger skin Ferrari. A Yorkie has just appeared as well. Now, the reason why I am keeping an eye on those particular individuals is because I want to know whether the timing bug has been resolved. Now, for again anyone present on previous streams or anyone that has seen multiplayer streams leading up to this stage will know that anyone that joins a race after anyone that joins a session after quali has begun, their times stay stuck at the very bottom. And I'm just jumping onto my Twitch, so just to see if the chat room is going to behave itself. Welcome to those that haven't tuned in already. Nope, the chat function is broken. So if you're wanting to talk to me, I'm afraid you are unable to do so. But hopefully that will not stifle your enjoyment of this evening's race. So, like I say, what's happening at the moment is no one is coming out onto circuit because, one, we have a few people joining in. Perry Gronstret has also joined us in Mercedes. Claessens has left. He did indeed join in the wrong car, it looks like. Oops. Now, like I say, what's happening at the moment is the drivers are being held for a few minutes to let the weather kind of settle down, almost. Because of the live track situation, what we didn't want was people just legging it out straight away, setting early times, and those times to remain stagnant for the entirety of the qualifying session. So that's why no one is out on track at the moment. We are now up to 19 drivers. There was 15 early on, so we have had a few join post-start. So we have Perry Gronstret in his Mercedes, scored third last time out, but was promoted to second after Steward Inquiries decided to disqualify two drivers, one of which was actually finished in second position. So everybody from the leader downwards excluding the leader, obviously, was promoted. We have Jeff, who sadly did not finish last week's race in the black Mercedes. Yorkie in his BMW. He scored a brilliant comeback drive in Spa. Didn't have quite such a good race out last week in Algarve. Nismo in his tiger skin Ferrari. Actually looks like that 31's blinking, which I'm not sure it's supposed to do. Hester in the blue Mercedes had a great three-way battle between Perry Grosjean himself and Stu in the McLaren. Amazing. One of the few Audis we've got. Why is the camera put there with a lamp right in the middle of the shot? Well done, whoever thought that was a good idea. Tipple in the Falcon coloured M6. We didn't really see a great deal of Tipple last time out. Vernax, current championship leader, who's won the first 2 rounds, did have a fairly bad day in the office last time around. He started on pole but was not able to hold that as soon as Popsu had gotten ahead of him. Popsu is with us. He then could not keep up. He did sustain some damage, if I can say the sentence correctly, and sadly fell through the order. Wycombs had a fairly uneventful race, certainly broadcasting wise, didn't really see much of him. And we've just jumped up 20 drivers because Clarson's back with us, and he's in the correct car this time. So yes, he was a bit of a plank and joined in the wrong car. So he is now with us in the black Mercedes. Andrex in the M6. We've just gained a 21st driver. It's Johan in the Ferrari. Had a great run out, but sadly was decided to have been by the stewards to be disqualified from the race. I say decided to be disqualified. The reason for that, and 2 drivers, like I say, were disqualified from last week's race, they being Johan and, if I can find him, Stu in the McLaren. Reason being is a stewards inquiry was raised regarding to track extensions, and there they go. We just hit the 15-minute mark, and now people are beginning to come out on tracks. So now the conditions have equalised, we should see a constant stream of cars as opposed to just people going out early and then stopping because they can't beat the times. And pretty much everybody is streaming out on circuit. So we had a couple of drivers disqualified last week, as I say. It was such a great shame because they were really top of the towards the top of the table. But sadly, it was decided that they were disqualified because they extended the track too often. And to be fair, these are, I want to make it very clear that it's not a judgment against them as drivers, thinking that they're trying to do this on purpose. Not at all. It is just to prevent people from getting used to track extensions and what have you. And so the rules are applied unilaterally across the field. And sadly, a couple of drivers fell foul of that, Steve being one of them. Junior, sadly retired from last week's race in his black McLaren. Had a great run. He was actually he qualified 10th, I believe, or 9th, within the top 10 in his first race out in this league. Very impressive, but sadly he was not able to finish. The Lemon Lamborghini of Nick Meadow is with us in the field. Coming around. I need to get my track map. Whoops, I've got the wrong window. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a Ferrari right up his trumpet. Mickersby is the Ferrari that is right behind. Oh no, sorry, the Ferrari is in front of United. It's actually it's the one we can see. Rigor. Now he was in a very brightly coloured Mercedes last time around. He was struggling a little bit around Sheen Corner there. Stu, as previously mentioned, in his McLaren is just coming over the line to look at the amount of spray that is coming off the cars. And you actually see how the water is gathering on the outside of that first turn, Paddock Hill Bend. And if you go onto that, you will just fly off the road because you just lose all traction. You can't really recover it particularly well. Andreas Hayder in the Kaspersky colour Ferrari also joins us. He has got, can't tell which that could possibly be one tyre directly ahead of him. Race winner Popsuit has not left the garage yet, and that's very interesting. A very, very dominant win for Popsuit last time out. Really, as soon as he got the lead, he was off. He was unchallenged. Warren Tyre had a great drive as well. He was involved in quite a number of battles. But Warren Tyre was also brought to the stewards, but his penalty was not quite as severe. He was given a penalty, but not as bad as you can see. Quali ban, I should say. As you can see, he's on track at the moment. Rilo 7105 is just leaving the pits on his merry way. James. James also, so I've just realised his name is added to the list. So actually, we've got quite a few drivers I want to keep an eye on that have joined the session after it started. I'm really hoping, because it's quite a number of drivers, that that their times are actually counted properly. We've had 3 drivers in the last 2 rounds, at least 2 or 3 rounds, that have been stuck at the bottom of the timings, and I've been unable to tell where they are actually on track, as we now have time started to roll in. 32.7, which is damn impressive in these conditions, from Vernat. We have 32.6 from Wycombe, 31.7 from Stu, very impressive. Hesto is on the board along with Andreas Hayder. Maisie jumps into second with that 32.3. I won't be jumping around quite that badly all the time around. Tipple, very nicely done in the Falcon, in the Minty BMW. Mickisby jumps into currently 8th position. No, just been demoted by Nick Mido. He's in 6th position. Oops, that's someone on the infield, I think. It was one of the... yeah, that must be Wycombe. I think it's the only Porsche. Yes, he is. He's getting well and truly out of the way. Warm time, not seeing a very representative time now. 1:14.5. Even I'm quicker than that, so he will need to do better. Impressive effort by Wycombe there. Currently 4th in the Porsche. 1:32.678. Very nicely done, sir. Oh, I can turn the map on. Now, the map has changed, I think. Or we didn't really run it last time around. Because last time we used to focus on where the driver was. And, you know, it gives you the zoomed in bit on the track like you see it as a driver. But the map gives you a complete map as you can see. Interesting that Paragonster and Popsu have not come back out. Unless they were on quali bands, which I should have apprised myself of before the race began, for which I do apologise for. So the race feed does not seem to be working again. That's a bit of a shame. I was hoping that would work. But never mind. I might as well just clear it. That is not giving me anything, unless no one's invalidated the lap. So Stu has decided he's not. Oh, it's getting a little bit twitchy there on the back. Now, there's a lot of things I want to really be keeping an eye on. Again, you can see where the water is beginning to gather on the outside, basically off the racing lines. The water on the racing lines is obviously being thrown up into the air. But the rain, look how heavy it is raining. If the cars are able to clear the... Whoa, and that's what I'm keeping an eye on. It's so slippery. A lot of people actually span there. That's Surtees corner, turn 4. It's so easy to spin. I span there quite a few times yesterday. Not that it's difficult for me to spin, and I've just been informed that Popsu does indeed have a quali ban, and that will be thank you for Brandoros informing me of that. I will explain why he's still sat in the garage. So yes, that will also be for track extension purposes, as previously mentioned. Roigor is just coming out of the pits, why he just had his pit marker on and moving. Roigor has chosen not to run the radioactive coloured Mercedes. He currently finds himself 13th with about 1:35.5. Sure, he could do better. That was the sort of time I was setting yesterday. If you're setting similar times as me, you need to be pushing harder than that. Now, I'm just concerned that from 15th downwards still doesn't have a time on the board. I'm hoping it's because they haven't actually set a time as opposed to we're seeing the timing bug, because otherwise 15th down to 22nd. Well, no, Popsu and Nismo were with us, so their times will count, but I'm just going to keep an eye on this particular bunch because I do hope that this bug has been fixed. Carson's coming down to turn 4. Perry Gronstek is about to set a lap, so again, he could be on his out lap. He was in the pits quite a long time, was Perry, so no time registered for the red Mercedes at the moment. That was Nick Mido in the background. The lemon Lamborghini, there he is. Just coming around Paddock Hill Bend. Down to Druids. Oh, he's gone deep. If you go deep, if you go off the racing line, you are going to be faced with a lot of puddles, which is obviously going to lose your grip, and it's going to make overtaking that much more difficult as well. So, oops, there's a little bit wide there. But also, if people aren't going off at a similar sort of point like we saw earlier on, we saw a spin there at Surtees turn number 4. That will also mean that people are bringing mud onto the track, which will also make the track slipperiness very, very very difficult, and just been informed that the game volume is too high, as I had a suspicion it might be. Thank you, Star, for telling me of that one. Just give a little adjustment there to hopefully balance that out, as I have noticed that the car engine noises were very loud compared to where they were before. Hopefully that will be a little bit better. Of course, the audio in my ears doesn't change, so I can't tell what the kind of stream mix is, so to speak. So let's just have a look through the order then. Stu still leads the way. It's 6.5 minutes ago, so still plenty of time for people to set their lap. Verdax has jumped into second position in that Tiger Ferrari. Maisie in third, and in the Audi. Hasn't been towards the sharper end so far, but and we have Mick has been that's close to someone. That's one of the minty coloured BMWs. So that is so Colonel McCoy is not with us. I've actually forgotten who the other one is. Unfortunately, it would look like, whoa, as James gets very, very squirrely on that last turn. That's going to bin it, yep. So easy to do. When the rain is this heavy, it's so easy just to lose a bit of traction. Oh, get out of the way, James. Someone's coming towards you. I think it's fair to say, as James comes over the line, that the timing bug is still in existence. I was dearly hoping that they'd sorted that, but it would seem that they haven't. So James, we won't know where his position is. Johan, Claessens, Perry Gronso, Hester is parked on the side of the road. Jeff, Yorkie, Nismo I think was in the server. Let's just see if he's going to set a time to confirm. So crossing the line. Nope, so Nismo will also not have a time. Popsy will, but like I say, he is not able to come out at the moment, as Johan's getting a bit close to someone. No idea who. That's unfortunate. That's a good third of the field. I'm not going to know their positions. That is going to make this considerably more challenging for me, but I will do my best with what I have. I forgot to give myself a notepad for penalties as well, and I suspect there's going to be quite a few. Let's continue to run through the order that is on the list, at least. This may not actually be the correct qualifying order, as I due to 15th and 21st, 22nd even, Popsy being registered as 0. So Stu is still out there, so he's still pushing to try and gain some more time. Just over 4 minutes to go, 4.25 minutes remaining. Maisie has jumped into second position, half a tenth ahead of Vernos, 1:31.8. My goodness me. Just a tenth behind Stu in his McLaren. So this is kind of what I was hoping would happen. We're seeing a bit of a change of the guard. Obviously, up until now, it's been the Ferraris that have been a little bit of the rule of the roost. And part of the patch yesterday was GT3. Well, there was loads of things that were addressed, to be fair. GT3 class balancing. Sorry, I do have a bit of a cold, so breathing is a bit difficult for me at the moment. GT3 class balancing was listed, amongst other classes, to be fair, but GT3 class balancing was in there, and it could be that the Ferraris no longer run off into the distance, but also we're seeing obviously very, very wet weather. We don't know what practice people have been putting in. Stu comes around to finish his lap. Does he improve? No, he does not. So it could have been his out lap. There's Maisie in second, Vernuts 3, Wycombs is in fourth place in the Porsche, 1:32.3. He's actually been in fourth for most of this qualifying session, so great effort from Wycombs there. Wycomb in fifth position. So we've got McLaren, Audi, Ferrari, Porsche, Mercedes as your top five. You have to go to then junior in sixth position before you get two of the same cars. That's someone stopped by the pit entrance. I think it is. Who? We don't know. Oops. Rigel pushing that Merc a bit too hard. If it was that sideways, Rigel, it was never going to come back. Twitch would appear to still be having a mare. I'm assuming the chat window still doesn't right. No, it doesn't. Right, fine. Right, back to the street. Out again, and Johan is off the circuit and back into his garage. Ooh, James getting very, very feisty. He's taking a risk, actually, taking the apex that tight. As you saw quite a lot of the water there. What I found, actually, was the outside of that final turn that was quicker because it was dry. That's Clark Curves, the final turn, turn 9. Apologies, I'm going to have to keep doing that and clear my nose to try and help me breathe. So I do apologise for that. But the show must go on, as they say. So no idea what position James is actually in. We'll have to wait until basically the start of the race to get a final confirmation of who has qualified where. About the only ones we know definitively will be this man deciding from the back. There's Andrex still listed 8th position. He's just coming into the pit lane, getting off the racing line. As that's Maisie just coming around to complete a lap. Let's see if his time improves. Answer is no. He made a mistake somewhere, or he was coming out, or he was deciding to use it as a warm-up lap. And as you saw from his split, he was about 4.5 seconds down, but he will have a chance to complete this lap. Less than a minute to go. So it would be nice to click on the map to jump. Look at the stream of cars coming down Pilgrim's Drop. That's, if you look on the map where Maisie is, if you're unsure of your corner names or straight names, the next turn he will take will be Surtees, and then it's the Pilgrim's Drop, which is this straight coming up. Quite a big gaggle of cars there. Where's Wycombe? Just have a look at him. He's actually at the back of this particular chain. Something else that has been observed by the drivers is the fact that there will be a bit of frame rate drop. So if the stream does slow down, I don't have the greatest beating in the world, but it does seem to be very testing. Whether it's Brands Hatch, I doubt it. It's a fairly short track. It's more likely the weather conditions. As Wycombe then comes to the end of his lap. A lot of people streaming across the line. Qualifying is now done. So that's Junior in the black McLaren is going to cross the line. He is one of the people affected by the time bug. I think Wycombe's improved. No, he didn't improve at all. He remained on 132.301. 4th position on my screen. We'll see where he actually starts. So Stu then. So Stu's still on a lap. Oh dear, he's had an argument with something. Now what's also worth noting is that how the rain is falling here. It's not like Project Cars 1 where rain meant rain and it was a constant thing. You know, you can have heavy rain in one area and it actually be dry in another. You can have lighter rain in one section and heavier rain in another. It's a fairly live there. That's why it's called a live track. And yeah, there's a lot of dynamic systems going on here. As Stu comes across the line, I would be stunned if he improves his time with that kind of damage. And of course he does not. Junior is still out there. He has, however, he's not doing anything. Perry Gronster is on track. Of course, no idea what time he's setting. The position thing at the top is, of course, not working because he was qualifying. And he's backed out of it. So that is the end of Perry Gronster's session. Right. So 20 seconds, and then this session will force close. I'm assuming Perry is not going to jump back to the pits. I'm assuming his car is under AI control at this point. Or he is taking it very, very easy. Here we go then. So, quality position then. Stu gets his first pole of the season with Maisie 2nd, Vernox 3rd, Wycombe 4th, Rygon 5, Junior 6, Tipple 7, Andric 8, Nick Mido 9, and Hesto rounding out the top 10. Great effort there. It's also good to see a very big shuffle of different cars at the front. Now this is the correct qualifying positions, and Yorkie was 2nd. Look at that. Yorkie is one of the people affected by the time bug. He actually starts the 2nd position in his M6. Very nicely done. Stu is 3rd, Maisie 4th, Vernox 5, Clarson's in 6th position. I did have a feeling he would have a decent qualifying position. So that's Johan. Actually, it was Johan at the front. Stu wasn't the pole man. It was that's Ferrari, BMW, McLaren, Audi, Ferrari, Mercedes in the top 6. There's James in the blue Ferrari 7. Wycombe's in the Porsche in 8. Rigor. Let's see. Hang on. Let's change camera. So he's in the Mercedes. Weird thumping noise. What is he doing in that car? Junior in the Black McLaren in 10th position. Tipple, great effort for him in the Falcon BMW in 11. Nismo 12 in the Ferrari Andrex M6 in 13. Nick Meadow in the Lamborghini in 14. Jeff, 15th position in his black Mercedes. Perry Gronstra down in 16th. Oh, it's Wipers. Oh, thank you, Star. Yeah, of course it is. Hesto in the blue Merc in 17th position. Andreas Hayder in the Kaspersky colour Ferrari in 18th. Rito in the red Ferrari 19. Mickersby in his red and white Ferrari in 20th. Worn tyre, what terrible qualifying for him in 21st position. And of course Popsu in his white plain Ferrari starting at the back of the field. So we just have to wait for this Enema 2 timeout. This is where people get last minute chance to change any particular settings they wish to do so, or if someone's had a connection problem, we will have to, of course, wait. And lots of flickering lights going on. Horrible frame rate drop at this stage. And now we go. We have actually lost somebody, so someone did have a connection problem, and I think it's actually Popsu. It is. We've lost our race winner from last week. So as a reminder, oh no, there he is. Sorry, I had misread it, so it's not Popsu we've lost. It's someone for around about 15th or so. So we have lost someone already, sadly. The field now gets underway, so for those unfamiliar, it is a rolling start, not a standing start, so the drivers will now proceed around a formation lap. They will be forming up the 2x2 lines around the Pilgrim's Drop just before Pilgrim's Bend. This race week does not work again, so let's clear that. So they're now going to proceed around at 80 kilometers an hour. 80 miles an hour. 130 kilometers an hour, I believe. Look at the amount of standing water there is on the inside of that turn 4, well, the straight leading to turn 4. It is very, 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 very wet. But the rain does seem to, or visually, the rain has eased off. That's what it looks like from Maisie, who on the overlay is in second, but as you can very clearly see, he's fourth, as Johan is leading the way ahead of Yorkie. What a stunning effort from Yorkie. A great effort from Johan, to be fair, but Yorkie's had a bit of a mixed season so far. We have crossed over the halfway stage in the season. 3 rounds to go. 3 rounds gone. This is the only wet round on the calendar. Oops, there's that lag from Stu again. Stu's actually listed in the lead, but it's quite clear he's not. They are now forming up the 2x2 lines. Slightly later, I thought that's a little bit quick. Actually, no, they are coming down to the right speed. So they're actually forming up on the straight heading down to Clearways. What a noise! What a beautiful noise as the procession comes down to Clark Curve. If we get on board with Maisie, that's what it looks like from his perspective. So we're now waiting for Johan to floor it. It's any moment from now. Ooh, that's Andrex. Yorkie getting very, very interested in the lead. He is desperate to get us underway. And there goes the Ferrari. We are racing here at Brands Hatch. Let us see how the field does. Johan takes the normal racing line. Oh, that looks like Vernox trying to make a move on the inside of the Audi. The Audi's got very, very wide. He's going to run straight through that standing water. And that's Vernox that's gained a position. We'll have to keep an eye out. We've got someone in the pit already. It's Perry Gronstra. Whether he's been out there a long time, he must have had a jump start or something along that kind of line. Johan continues to lead from Yorkie second. Stu is in third. Vernox is now up to fourth position. Maisie is in fifth. There is, that's Wycombs then. Who is that ahead of him? Of course, that's E. Claessens and Junior, I think it is. As we get to the chase cam, there were people actually around Wycombs at the time. There's James. He's in fifth position. Now he's actually right behind Vernox. So Stu. Oh, Stu's in third. This is going to make this very, very hard. But Maisie, that's who I was trying to think who's actually in sixth position. These positions on the overlay here are going to be utterly useless. Oh, that's Vernox running very wide. Oh, it's impact with James. James is in trouble. Oh, what a shame for the blue Ferrari. He's going to have to wait for everybody to come past. If it was contact, it was very, very light. And away there goes it. Now, let's see where Popsu is. He had to start from the back of the field. There he is. Again, obviously, my overlay says he's in 11th, which we know to be incorrect. He has gained about 4 or 5 positions or so he's had a fairly decent start. One tyre right behind him, so he's gained a few as well. Although there's someone right at the back. Who was that? Was that Mickersby? No, it wasn't Mickersby. I couldn't actually tell who. I couldn't even tell what the colour of the car was. You can see there James at the back, but there is actually somebody behind him. Can't tell who. Let's jump back up to the front then. Vernox is listed in the lead. I suspect there's going to be a couple ahead of him. It is indeed. There is Johan and Yorkie. Look at that. That BMW is nailed to the back of the Ferrari as they now come through Pilgrim's Drop. And that is the BMW of Yorkie with a face full of spray. It is 40 laps here at Brands Hatch. And Johan choosing a much tighter apex, whereas Yorkie is trying to find where the drier line is. So you're going to be seeing a lot of this, I think, with drivers adapting their normal driving line to get the best traction through these conditions. But look at the gap between him and Vernox. Vernox is doing pretty well to climb up the field. He's now in third position. You can see him there. But that's got to be a good 3.5 seconds or so. There is Vernox with Maisie right with him. So where's Stu gone? Stu is falling right the way down the field. I bet Stu was the stranded car that I was trying to identify earlier. It is indeed. That's the back of the field that's just gone through the shot. So the McLaren's had a terrible time starting at the front and is now finding itself at the back. What a terrible... But I think there's going to be a lot of this. The track is so slippery. And is that Vernon? No, that's Nismo. Nismo is having a good time out there. He's up into what must be 5th, I think. Yes, it is. Oh, mate, he's gone wide at that is Druid's bend. He's managed to hold on to it as they Audi and Ferrari are now side by side heading down to Graham Hill Bend. Still side by side. That Ferrari's not letting that one go. The Ferrari now having the inside line on the Audi, but the Ferrari's been pushed right into all that standing water. But so is the Audi. Neither car having an ideal line. And now it's going to be advantage to Nismo as we get onto the chase cam. There's impact between him and the Audi. Oh no, is Maisie still going? Yes, he is. Both cars still going. A little bit of damage, a little bit of contact. They should be all right. That looks like E-Class is right with him. Yes, it is. Now I've gotten used to who's in what car. It's slightly easier for me to navigate these timing issues that I've got here. The field is still pretty well compact, as you can see. That is Junior in the car behind Claessens. But there is battles up and down the field. Look at that. That is Nismo, of course, ahead of Maisie, as we saw. Vernox is getting a gap between him and now his teammate. Is he going to be able to close in on the pair at the front? Let us see where they are. There they are. Look at that. Yorkie is nailed to the back. Oh, that Ferrari is sold in the dummy on the outside. You had to think about it on the inside of Paddock Hill Bend, but chose not to. Probably quite wise in these conditions. It does look like... I was just going to say it looked like the rain stopped for a second there, but as you can very clearly see, it has not. The rain won't actually stop. It is due to be this weather condition all the way through, but the rain level will vary, and therefore so will the amount of water on the track. Look at that. That is how close that BMW is to that Ferrari. The BMW can't count the amount of fins in the diffuser is that close as they come through Surtees once more. That low growl of the M6 chasing that Ferrari along Pilgrim's Drop. There's a big old gap between himself. Oh, why is my map not on? There we go. Now ignore the colouring of the dots. That's of course down to the timing bug. The white ones are basically the ones affected by the timing bug. The red ones are not. Someone is really struggling back there. It's nearly impossible for me to tell who it is. Oh, that was a good guess. It's Perry Gronstra. He's actually right at the back of the field. Now, you did see him sat at the pits for a long time. We didn't see an incident with him, but it could be struggling there. James is gives at least an indication of where in the field they are. Well, until they start lapping each other at least. James is on the back of Popsu, and Popsu we know. I say we know he's in 8th. We don't know that at all. Around about sort of 12th position, and I would hazard a guess. At least 10, because there's at least 2 cars ahead of them. Well, actually, you can count the blue dots. There are 4 cars ahead of where they actually are, as far as I can see. There's James really putting a lot of pressure on last week's race winner. Oh, there's side-by-side going on there. It actually looked like Warren Tyre was getting out of the way. There's Warren Tyre. There he is. It was indeed. It was Warren Tyre getting out of the way of his teammate. Yeah, very interesting. Andrex is in. Oh, look at the damage on the front of that M6. That is not a happy car at all. Andrex has had an argument with something or someone. Or something, it would be the wall, and I would expect the damage to be much, much worse than that. And in he comes. I was going to say, surely not a tyre change already. But he is down at the tail end of the field now. And we've just lost someone. I can't tell who, I'm afraid. So, hopefully the answer will come clear to me later. Back up to the front then. Still, this battle for the lead continues. It's difficult to tell whether Vernux in 3rd position is gaining on this or not, because of course the timings don't work. But they have got a healthy lead. As you can see on the map, these two are coming through Stirling's Bend just as the rest of the field comes through Sheen. So 5-6 seconds perhaps. Please excuse my sniffling. So we have a look at Yorkie then. That is, again, how close they are. Big old battle going on here. Let's look further down the field. This is Junior. He is in 7th, I think. Oh, look at that. That's Maisie. Oh, you can actually see. Well, this is the view from Maisie. That's Nismo and Vernux. Vernux is actually the Ferrari behind. So Nismo is up to. Oh, no. Oh. Hang on. Oh, the names shuffle around just as I went to click on them. That's why I got a bit confused. Oh, Nismo's got wide in Druids, but he has managed to hang on to it. Still a big old chain of cars right behind him, as you've just seen. A couple of cars swap positions behind. That's not Maisie. That's Classes and Junior that are having their battle there for, I think that's 8th. Oh, look at that. That's Wycombe's in there in the Porsche as well. Each car is... except for a few of the Ferraris that share the same livery, I should be able to identify who I'm talking about. I just can't necessarily tell what position they're in. Look at this, a lovely 3-car battle going on here. Maisie is pretty close to someone as well. Let's catch up with him. There he is in his Audi. He is catching to the back of the Tiger Ferrari battle. Just as you see Wycombe's and Junior. Wycombe's is on the back of this particular battle. There's the view from the Porsche as he gets a very, very sideways on the exit of Hawthorne's Bend. They are now coming up to Westfield. Look at that. So there's the black McLaren of Junior directly ahead, with the black Mercedes of Classes ahead of them, who is in turn catching Maisie's Audi. Oh, that's what it would seem like. Not too far ahead is the 2 Ferraris of Nismo and Vernux. Now you saw Classes get off the actual line for the apex, probably trying to find where the line was drier. Oh, look at that! That's Junior defending from Wycombe's. Junior having to jump to an inside line to try and defend for the Porsche. He's still going to have to defend though, as Wycombe's having a look on the outside of Druids. That's going to be very, very brave in these conditions. Although Junior is having a good old go at Classes. Look at that! He's taken an opportunistic move there. A little bit of wheel banging, and he's now going to cut on the inside of Classes. Still going to hang on to the inside line. Can he do it at 30s? It's going to be a bit of an interesting move, and Classes backs out of that one. But has that made the McLaren go too deep? No, now Wycombe's is having to go at Classes as well. No, the Mercedes managed to power out of Surtees before the Porsche had a chance to get any traction going. Battles everywhere at the moment. There you see Rigor in his white Mercedes catching up to the back of this particular pack, and he is bringing... Is that Hesto behind him? No, Hesto's still in his blue Merc. I'm going to have to try and identify which. That's Jeff. Jeff in his black Mercedes is also adding to this particular conga line. We have a retiree. Who is that has retired? Parsons, no. Nismo, no. Yorkie, nope. Someone's retired. You can actually see the lights coming out of the garage, and I can't tell who it is. Water, no. Tibble, no. Biggsby, no. It is probably someone that's left the actual session, so I'm not going to be able to identify who it is. We just lost somebody else. Probably the car that was parked there. Oh, it's one of the Beamers. Andrex? Andrex? Yeah, we've lost Andrex. We have lost the Bonnie Scotsman from the race. What a great shame. Andrex was actually lapping in the yesterday's race around the 33 mark, but as you can see, I say race leader Vernax, but one of the leaders, I think it's fourth where he is, because that's Nismo ahead. Nismo's having a great time. Look at that. He's already built up a gap between him and Vernax. Vernax is taking Surtees very, very steady. But even the top times are in the 36s, so we're not getting anywhere near the sort of times that the practice race yesterday held. And that just goes to show you how you cannot be complacent in when it's rainy conditions. You can practice it and practice it and practice it. It doesn't necessarily mean you have a repeat of those exact conditions next time around. Let's get back up to our lead battle now. Yuhan has managed to break away from the chasing BMW of Kami Hendricks. It is Yorkie, but not by much. That is not even a second between those two cars. So Yuhan now doesn't have to defend so hard, which will hopefully mean for him that he will be able to push that much harder. But don't count out Yorkie. He's been there for quite a while now. Third is not Vernax. Third is therefore Nismo. God, look how Nismo has been able to break away. And Vernax has got Maisie in fairly short succession. Those are the times between those two, at least, are correct. You just see on the Delta there that Maisie lost about half a second, which may not necessarily mean he's made a mistake. It just could be the way that the conditions are changing. It's like all of the position numbers flash red there for a second. Thought Junior was going to get a bit deep there at Druids, but wasn't the case. Wycombe is a bit on his own there. Rygor has also got past Claassen, so Claassen is not having a good time here. So either he's got damage on that black Mercedes, or he is just simply struggling in these conditions. And that is therefore Jeff directly behind him. We have actually lost somebody else from the session as well. So we are down to 18 drivers now. I had a feeling this race might be one of attrition. Haven't seen any incidents go on. Of course, I'm trying to look absolutely everywhere. With mixed results, as you can see. Yorkie's still not able to close in too much at the moment on the car ahead, but is keeping that Ferrari well and truly in his sights. You can't relax yet. He's got a lot of work to do to try and get rid of that Beamer. But this man, Nismo, I say that gap between himself and... well, that gap has most certainly increased between himself and his teammate. And Maisie is closing in that gap between himself and the Tiger Ferrari ahead. But Junior is not far behind. So he is a second behind Maisie, who is a second behind Vernax. And behind Junior by a second is roughly at least, is this man Wycombe. So the top. Oh, well, I say top three. I was about to say second through to fifth. That's also wrong. It's going to be, what is it, 4, 5, 6 and 7 are fairly equidistant between one another. Jeff is in that mixture somewhere. He's a little bit further down. Let's have a look further down the field. Rygor in the white Mercedes is right behind Wycombe's. Hesto, his blue Merc, has got Popsu right on his tail. So Popsu has been slowly but surely making his way through the field. Gained 6/10 on the Hesto last time around. Popsu this time with a face full of spray. You can see that particular line is looking a little drier than the... now I've just been given an offer by the beautiful Scotsman Andrex to give me reliable position data. That would be very, 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 very helpful. So I will take you up on your offer, you beautiful Scotsman. He will of course be watching on the stream, whereas I am going to be a little bit ahead of him. To kind of on the move. Actually, looking at his last lap was actually pretty impressive. Is this man Tipple? So one of the few people say 135. War Tyre is having a bad day in the office position-wise, but his last lap was 135.0. He is coming up too. That's Andreas Hayder in the Kaspersky Ferrari. War Tyre towards the back end of the field, unfortunately. A couple of drivers behind him, so that puts War Tyre around about 16th or so. So we're having confirmation of the top position. Johan, Yorkie, Ismo, Vernux. So Vernux 4, Maisie 5. Junior in 6th position. Rigor 7. Wycombs is in 8th at the moment. Jeff 9. There is Jeff. Hesto is round up the top 10. Popsu is in 11th at present. Ruido is in 12th. Reading offers I'm being given them classes. He's down in 13th position. Not a good day for him. Tipple, who seems to be making a bit of a charge. He's in 14th. Andreas Hayder in 15th, as we were previously looking at. This must make a War Tyre in 16th. It does indeed. And that leaves Mickisby in 17th and Perry Gronstra then in 18th. Yes, as I've just had those confirmed. Perry Gronstra, what on earth happened to him? He was held in the pits for so long. Does not seem to have been able to catch up at all to the rest of the field. As Johan and Yorkie can put in another lap as they come through. Druids once more. Yes, I was Druid. I was right first time. Vernux in 4th has really lost touch with his teammate. His back end get a little twitchy there coming into Druids. Maisie is still with him, as is Junior. So 3, 4 and 5. Sorry, 4, 5 and 6 are pretty close together. And then you've got a big gaggle of cars behind, which has Rigor in the white Mercedes at the front of it. Wycombs in his Porsche fending off. That is Klaassen. No, that's Jeff. That is Jeff in his black Merc right behind the Porsche of Wycombs. And as well as this, for the Mercedes point of view, wasn't able to power out of 30s as well as he would have liked. As they continue on their merry way. Wycombs made a mistake somewhere. His last lap time was about 4 seconds down on those around him. So you can see the exclamation marks are just absolutely everywhere at the moment. There's that battle 4, 5 and 6. As you can see on the map where they are, they've just gone through Sterling's, heading down towards Clark. The blue dot ahead of them is Dismo here. He's now really on his own, trying to chase down Yorkie, who is in 2nd, who is still, as you can see, he's losing time now on the Ferrari ahead, but is still able to keep his headlights very, very, very bright in the rearview mirror of that Ferrari ahead. I'm just trying to keep up with all the battles we've got, despite the fact that it's difficult to keep track of what position they're in. Junior seems to be falling off the back of Maisie a little bit, who in turn is falling off the back of Vernux. But I am keeping an eye very, very closely on this battle. This is Wycombs in the Porsche. Haven't been able to look at Wycombs a great deal in the last few races. He's been pretty much minding his own business, but he does not have that luxury this time. Rigor seems to be getting away from him in the bright white Mercedes ahead, but he has got Jeff all over his rear wing. And again, the black Mercedes absolutely full of spray as they come into Hawthorne's. The back a little bit twitchy. Get on the cockpit of the black Merc. Oh, he's run very wide on the exit of Westfield. Who dingled out into Sheen Corner. And this is where the Porsche are able to run away from the Mercedes a little bit. Through Sterling's. Now the Mercedes can unleash. Oh, yeah, I say unleashes power, and then Jeff gets all crossed up, heading down towards Clark. You can see how early they jump off that apex, so they're trying to find the drier lines through the circuit. And on this battle goes pretty much unchanged. Junior is still right with Maisie. He's closed in a little bit. Half a second, less than half a second, separating the McLaren and the Audi now. So it doesn't look like Maisie's been able to hang on to first. You just see the Ferrari actually disappear out the top of the shot. So this now lines up the Audi for the McLaren. Junior having a much better time this time out than he did last time. I'm just going to grab a drink there. Oh, excuse me. Again, battle behind as Wycombe and Jeff are still having their battle. Rigor is able to stretch away a little bit from the Porsche and Mercedes battling behind, but hasn't been able to get away too much. Wycombe is holding his own pretty well against the advances of Jeff. There's a big old gaggle behind. Popsu is now very much on his own. I want to catch up with who that gaggle of cars is ahead of him. Okay, so that is Hesto. Yep, that's Hesto, Tipple. That ahead of them is... Oh, Relo, of course. I thought Relo wasn't in the Ferrari. That's why I was a bit confused there. So the gaggle of 4 here. That is Hesto, Relo, Tipple, and... who is that at the back? That is Claessens, I think. It is indeed. So Claessens has been able to reel in those ahead of him. I've just been informed that Tipple, the battle here that we're looking at, Tipple is for 11th position. Thank you, Andrew, to keep me updated on that one. Oh, that's very, very close. That's what it looks like from the Beamer's perspective. Thinking about it on the inside of Druids. In these weather conditions, very, very difficult. Look how wide. Oh, really dear. I say, look how wide the Mercedes is going, and that's Tipple giving a bit of a love tap for Relo there. A bit of a graphical glitch going on my screen. I do apologise for that. I'm noticing that there it is again. The shadow just seems to completely get. Looks like there's a hole forming in the circuit. Oh, look at that! The BMW is right with the Ferrari through the corners. Oh, Hesso's had a bad run through Surtees. That's going to put both the Ferrari and the BMW on his case. Relo now shaping up for a move on the inside of Hawthorns. It's not a big braking zone there, and Hesso just manages to fend them off. And now that's the inside that the BMW is looking for. Is he going to have a look at it through Westfield? Not quite, but that's now bringing in Claessens. He's now on the back of this particular train. Oh, we've got a spinner. We've got a spinner. It's Rigor. Rigor and his Mercedes has fallen off of Wycombe's. That's a weird sentence. That wasn't at all what I meant to say. So Wycombe's then is now... oh no, beg your pardon. Wycombe still has his tail. So that... so Rigor has had a spin pretty much on his own then. And you can see there, the battle we were just looking at is just catching up to him. There it is. Hesto trying to keep Relo behind, who in turn is trying to keep Tipple behind. Continue on their path at the moment. Claessens has got a great view of this, although he's actually a little bit too far back. On board with the Minty BMW of Tipple then, as Relo takes a very heavily defensive line into Druids once again. Getting a little bit too close again. And Hesto's still got a lot of the defending to do from Relo. Relo's in a terrible position. He's got to defend from one and attack another. And all the while, Claessens is not far behind. Oh, and that's a move on the inside of Surtees. That is brave. If there's no other grip there, but it looks like he's got it done. And he has indeed. That is Tipple through on the Ferrari of Relo. But can he hang on to the position there? On board with the Ferrari now. Who now is his turn to have a complete face for the spray. He's gone too deep into Hawthorns. That's not the ideal way of taking that particular corner. And that's going to give a little bit of breathing space to Tipple now, who is going to start chasing after Hesto. But that has put Relo right in the clutches of Claessens, which is never a place you particularly want to be. Oh, just as I say that, Claessens has gone very, very deep into Westfield, into Sheen, sorry, and that's going to put him off the back of Relo. Let's stick with Tipple. He is on a charge now. He's sizing up that blue Mercedes of Hesto, and a couple of seconds down the road further, you just saw the white Mercedes of Rigor. So Tipple is now really beginning to mount a charge. Let's stick with him and see what he's able to achieve. Just going to check in with our leaders as well. That's how they look for Johan and Yorkie. There's Vernux, very much on his own. Nismo, as we know, is in third. He is totally on his own. And not near anyone at the moment. Tipple there. Oh, he had a much better drive out of that'll be out of Druids as they now come through Graham Hill Bend. He is right with that big old Mercedes. Looks like Hesto's struggling a little bit to keep that big beast under control. Tipple looks like he's certainly got the setup to keep his car nice and stable through the corners, which is exactly what you need in these wet conditions. There's not a massive amount of straights, so it does make sense on all fronts. And it is certainly working for Tipple now. We still haven't hit halfway this race. Ooh, bit of lag. Looked like Tipple was going to fly off the road there. He's having a look on the inside at Westfield, but chooses not to go for that. Very, very close. Counting the fins on that diffuser again. So now come to Sheen. Stays in line at the moment. Down towards Sterling. Bit of a braking zone there. Maybe an opportunity. Oh, that's Clarson's off. Clarson's has gone. He's overcooked it. Sheen. He's facing the wrong way. That's Popsu. And Wartime has just gone past him. Oh, disaster for Clarsons. Back into this battle that Tipple is in. He's staying right with that Mercedes now. He's going to have an opportunity. If he can stay that close, getting up to Druids, that's going to be his best chance. And Hesto opened the door wide and Tipple jumped through it. I think Hesto might have gotten on a bit too much water, got its car unsettled, and through he goes. And that is Tipple through another position. There's somebody on the side there. It's our stock. Oh, can't be Colossus again. It's got to be Jeff. It is indeed. Jeff now falling through the order. He actually joins the back of this conga. Oh, goodness me. So Jeff now has fallen through the field. He is right on that Ferrari. I've already forgotten who it was. It was Relo, beg your pardon. So Jeff now getting involved. Look at Tipple. He's already managed to open up over his last 6/10s. He's opened up for himself already. Look at that. Tipple is a man on a mission at the moment. Jeff now trying to recover some lost time, and he won't be the only one making those mistakes. Maisie's getting the exclamation mark next to him. He's beginning to close in a bit on Vernax. Hesto on Tipple, as we know. As behind that we've got Relo and Jeff having their battle. This is the, looking at the map, it's the closest battle we've got at the moment is this particular quarter. That's Popsy and Wartime right behind them, so they look to be catching up with this particular conga line, although Jeff does seem to be falling off the back of it. So another battle forming here. Popsy and Wartime seem to be very evenly matched. Although saying that, it does look like that Wartime was about 7/10 quicker than Popsy last time around. But has not been able to capitalise on that extra pace at the moment. Oh, Popsy gets a little bit squirrely on the entrance of Paddock Hill Bend. Look at that, they've already closed Jeff down, so Jeff is really struggling in that black Mercedes. I've only just noticed that we're down to 17 runners. I don't know who we lost or when. There's so much going on in this race as we have hit the halfway stage, lap 20 of 40. As these three now head on down towards 30s. But let's not lose sight of this battle here. Oh, wrong one. So Hesto has completely lost Tipple. Look at that. That is 2 seconds. Look at the gap. That's what two and a bit seconds looks like on these in these wet conditions there. So Hesto is now going to have Relo for company very, very quickly. This is checking with our leaders again. Yorkie looks like he's closed in on Johan. Actual timing at the top, he's correct between Yorkie and Johan. It's about a second. But this is not correct to anybody else. Gizmo still holds on to the third position and is absolutely miles ahead of his teammate Vernox. You've just seen in the background there, Vernox in fourth with Maisie 5, and that is Junior in sixth position. That McLaren hanging on to the back of the Audi as best he can and doing a pretty good job of it as well. Oh, commentator curse! Commentator curse! I have done exactly that. You floor it a little bit too early, and the car, there was just no grip available to use. Wycombs has just gained that 6th position from Junior, and through goes the Porsche, completely free of all tails as well, as we saw. It was Rigor previously, and so away goes Junior. And we lost that position there. There is Rigor in. Again, I've lost position. I've lost track of what position he's in. But look at Tipple. Looking at just the lap times alone, he is a full second, 1.1 seconds he gained on Rigor. That was the fastest lap last time. Now, I can't tell whether that was the fastest lap overall. Now, that button still doesn't do anything. That was for the broadcaster anyway. But Tipple is alive at the moment. It's interesting that he seems to have just suddenly come alive in this latter half of the race, but he is certainly really mounting a charge now. Let's have a look at Hesto. Hesto is keeping a sensible gap between himself and Relo. Popsy and Wartire still pretty close together, and that is Jeff just behind them. So Jeff did indeed lose the position to the two Ferraris and has not been able to answer it since. Bickersby we haven't looked at much. Or Andreas Hayden, to be fair, they are pretty much minding their own business. Oh, I have just been told that Rigor's gone off. He would have gone off a little while ago. And he has indeed lost the position. Thank you, Andrex. Andrex is acting as my spotter. So yeah, Rigor has indeed had a spin. Is there damage that he has? As that Delta tells you, it doesn't look like there's any damage. So he did keep it out of the wall. 34.9 for Tipple. Goodness me, what a charge that the M6 is able to mount at the moment. So he's got a long way to go to the Junior, though. So just under 8 seconds between himself and the next position. That is essentially the length of the Cooper straight. That's the straight he is on. So some way to go, but we're seeing the amount of mistakes that are happening in these treacherous conditions. So easy to do. These two Ferraris, that's Wartire and Popsy, still having a big old battle. We've just lost somebody else as well. It was actually one of the ones from the bottom group. I don't know who we've just lost. Down to 16 cars now. It was Claessens we've just lost. We have lost one of the black Mercedes. Oh dear, oh dear. So apologies, ladies and gentlemen, that we haven't had the chat box working in Twitch. I do apologise for the fact that I am talking through a nose of gunk, and I do thank you very much for being with us throughout this part of the race. I do also apologise for the damn timing bug that I hope would be fixed, and sadly is not. But I do the best I can, and certainly with the help of Andrex keeping me straight, it has helped tremendously. But what's also helped, if Andrex, you could confirm to me what position Perry Gronstra is in. We now only have 4 people affected by the timing bug, and 3 of them are in the top 3 positions. So there's Johan still leading, as you can see. Yorkie is about a second behind, where he's been for a while, and Nismo is in 3rd. So the top 3 are in that block, so that helps then with everybody else. And I think actually Perry Gronstra is at the back of the field. Hopefully I'll get a confirmation of that from Mr. Andrex, you gorgeous man. That's Andreas Hayder. So I think that is indeed Perry Gronstra at the back of the field. Oh my goodness me! Junction has made a Junior. What the hell am I talking about? Junior has made an error somewhere. His last lap was 11 seconds off the pace, and that's put the charging BMW of Tipple right on his case. Thank you again, Andrex, for the heads up on that one. He's absolutely alive, but Junior is really struggling. We've seen a few mistakes from him at this stage in the race, so it would seem that. And Andreas Hayder has had a spin as well. And that's Perry Gronstra then ahead of him. And there in the background, oh dear, that's there's damage on that Ferrari, so that is why Andreas Hayder is struggling. That's the race leaders coming up behind them. That means Yorkie is within a second of Johan. Now this could be interesting, as I was just about to say, if the races get held up by that back marker of Andreas Hayder, which they don't because he very courteously jumps out of the way, that could then bring these two together. Don't discount another battle for the lead yet. Yorkie is within a second of that Ferrari ahead, who's had his sights very firmly set on for quite a long time. Nismo is about 15 seconds down. The timing on that screen is correct. So he's got quite somewhere to go. He's going to have to hope that they come together in a big old ball. Now, Vernak's amazing are a second apart as well. Ferrari and Audi fairly close together. Wycombe's is not that far behind. I think he's losing time. Although saying that, his last time was a 34.7. That was the fastest lap last time around, assuming, of course, the 4 on the bottom of the time screen didn't beat it. So Wycombe's is having a bit of a charge as well. Absolutely belting. Tipple is right with Junior now. Warntire and Popsu are still pretty close together. Warntire having a look on the inside. Oh my goodness me, that's at Westfield as they come through Dingledale. Ooh, steady. And that is Relo that they are catching up to. So Relo is going to be... That's a big old chain of Ferraris. That's a big old... There's a chain of 3 Ferraris there. That's Warntire is desperate to get past Popsy then. Let's get back up to Tipple. He's getting very interested in that position that Junior is in. Oh, he got out. Oh no, he had to get out of it. And that is commentator's curse once again. What a shame for Tipple. He's had such a great run, and that has come disastrously to an end at turn 1 at the Paddock Hill Bend. He's now stuck in the gravel. He's now away. What a great shame. That's down to 13th. 8th to 13th. What a shame. Let us see how he is able to recover then. Warntire still keeping the pressure on Popsu. Maisie is not far off the back of Vernax. Yorkie is not far off the back of Yuhan. That's less than a second as they come across the line. Yorkie does seem to have been reeling in the Ferrari. Lap on lap on lap. And they are actually catching up to back markers, and I think that is Perry Gronstra that's not far ahead of them, who is having his battle with Mickisby. Yes, it is. So that is for 14th position, I think. There you see in the background is the race leaders. Yorkie, half a second separates him and the race lead. Yorkie finished 3rd in Belgium. Can he go? He's already one step better. Can he get that top spot? There's no danger behind, as Nismo is quite away. Oh, I thought Nismo had actually gone off there. It's actually showing Nismo as a minute behind Yorkie. That is that's clearly not correct. But Yuhan's got a lot of defending to do now from that BMW. That's what it looks like from Yorkie's perspective. Oh, and that's the Ferrari's gone wide. Great opportunity now for Yorkie to try and do something about the lead. He's got the outside at Sterling. He's still alongside, and now he slips back into the slipstream of the Ferrari. Is he going to have an inside move at Clark? Oh, he's got very close. He hasn't hit the back of the Ferrari. He's going to have to try that again, but now that's a lot of pressure on race leader Yuhan to try and fend off the ever-charging M6. As just when he doesn't get the M6 doesn't get a good run through Paddock Hill Bend. Now into Druids once more. I think with all this water the cars would be clean, but of course you can see they're not. Now down to Graham Hill Bend. Just seen Perry Gronstra actually disappear out of the shot. Because he's definitely not a day for the Mercedes. But Tipple close to Popsu. Popsu's lost his battle with Warntire. Popsu's had an issue somewhere and is throwing him into the closest to Tipple. So Warntire is now up to what I think is 11th position. And now Popsu's going to have to fight off Tipple. We've seen how hard he was pushing earlier. But keeping an eye on this lead battle, there is Perry Gronstra and Mickisby just ahead of them. This is going to get quite interesting. We are on lap 27 of 40, so still some distance to go. As they come through Westfield once again. Oh no, beg your pardon, that was Sheen. And now through Sterling are the two ahead. Now this is going to be interesting because, of course, Perry Gronstra and Mickisby in their own battle
They're not going to want to relinquish any time. And Popsu and Tipple have just swapped position. There it is. That's at Druids. That was a lovely outbreaking manoeuvre we saw Tipple do earlier, and he's done it again against the struggling Ferrari of Popsu. Oh no, that's not the car I went for. As looks like Perry Gross has fallen. Oh no, Mickersby's had a mistake. He's behind these two already. And Perry Gross jumps well and truly out of the way of the lead too. Is he going to lose that position to Mickersby? He does, kind of. He does! Mickersby, great opportunistic move. Actually retakes the position of Perry Grunstrap. That is for 14th position. As they come through Surtees again. It does look like that Yorkie has fallen off the back of Yuhan a little bit. Yeah, that gap's now back up to 7/10. So Yuhan's found some pace from somewhere. Maisie is pretty close to Vernux. Vernux could well be losing that 4th position. Remember, the top 3 are in this block of non-timed cars. Perry Grosser is at the back of the field, -1, which is Mickersby. And Popsu's registering as close to someone. He's not far off the back of Tipple, who it's short is not far off the back of Reeler. We've got a chain forming here. That's Warren Tyre, who's gotten ahead of his teammate Reeler. Looked like he's going a bit wide at Druids, but again, look at the gap that Tipple's formed for himself over Popsu. Popsu's having a torrid time here. It's such a shame that Tipple made that mistake. Oh, what might have been. Let's check back in with our lead battlers. 3/10 now between the BMW and the Ferrari as at Druids. The BMW closes right in again. Makes itself very, very big in those mirrors. And of course, with a face full of spray. Let's see what's. I keep wanting to say Andrex. That's the one. That's the beamer I'm used to seeing. It's Yorkie. Get that through your head. Andrex is your spotter this evening, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you, kind, gorgeous Scotsman. Look at Yorkie. He is determined to get past that Ferrari and take his first win of the season. Yuhan, determined to keep him back there. But it does look like at the moment that the BMW's got the pace over the Ferrari. As they come through Westfield once again, through the Dingle Dell. Don't laugh, that's what it's called. Into Sheen. Oh, that early braking. Well, I was going to say caught Yorkie out, but I'm not entirely sure it did to any great degree. Whether that was intentional by Yuhan or not. And Popsu has spun. Popsu is out. Oh no, he has spun. And he spun again, trying to get himself going. Ooh, dear, he's going to lose a whole bucket load of time. Flashing frustration. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I've done the same this time. Perry is out. We have lost another from this race. Perry Gronster has called it a day. Whether it was, whether that was the cause of Popsu's spin, I'm afraid I don't know. But Perry is out. We've got 15 runners as the BMW was side by side with Yuhan there. Oh, that's Popsu again that's spun. That's Druids. Dear oh dear, it's all gone completely wrong for Popsu. And look at this, Yorkie still pressuring for the lead. That's another 10 laps that Yuhan's got to keep that BMW behind. The advantage, I would say, at the moment is with Yorkie. Fairly decent run through Surtees, now through Pilgrim's Drop. He's going to stay in that slipstream. Less than 3/10 separates the two now. This, of course, isn't the only battle going on, but it's the one for the lead, so it's the one I'm keeping an eye on at the moment. And nothing that Yorkie can do at the moment as they come through Westfield once again. He's going to have a decent opportunity into Sterling's if he's brave enough. As they come through Sheen Corner, we saw the Ferrari go wide there before. And all seems to be well at the moment. Through Sterling's, now into Clearways. I always find that an ironic name considering how little Yorkie can see. Through Clark, now it's going to be, if he's got to stay on the back of that Ferrari, going into Druids is going to be his best opportunity. That's only it's less than 4 tenths between the two. He's got to have a good run through Paddock Hill Bend, which he does. Now it's going to be his opportunity, but he's a little bit too far back. And again, oh, Ferrari's gone too wide. Now this is an opportunity for Yorkie. He's gone alongside the Ferrari, and Johan just managed to recover, but only just managed to keep that BMW behind. That's how hard that Johan has to push to keep that BMW behind him. Absolutely amazing stuff as they come through Surtees once again. Slightly different lines being used. I'm not sure that's going to particularly help though. On board again with Yorkie, staying right with Johan, but at the moment just cannot find a way past. I want to look away because there's several other battles, as you can see, with the exclamation marks on the timing screen. For instance, that one. This is for 4th and 5th, Maisie and Vernux. That's Wycombe's not far behind, so he could get interested in this particular battle. Tipple is right with Relo, so it looks like he's going to regain 12th. And Andreas Hayder has got company as well. That's Popsu, that's the spinning Pop is right with him. Of course, this battle is the one that I'm focusing most on. Oh, it's a bit of a cautious line through Clark Curve for the Ferrari. Again, they stay pretty much as they have been for the last few laps. It's Yorkie able to keep that pressure on. 10 laps to go. Still a fair distance to cover. And you can see how early the Johan had to take the apex at Druids Bend. Oh no, Tipple spun it again. Apparently he has indeed. Look at that. He's now nowhere to be found. Just coming through Surtees. He was right with Relo and he has pinned it. What a shame for him. And Wycons is getting his exclamation mark on Maisie, so he's getting pretty close. So it could be that another three-way conga forming here. Maisie is keeping the pressure on Vernux. As my mouse has stopped working, there we go. A damaged Andreas Hayder is keeping up with Popsu. Yorkie staying in that half a second, keeping the pressure on. They come through Sheen once again. All one mistake. All Yorkie needs. He just needs a fairly big mistake from the Ferrari ahead of him, and he will be gone, I suspect. Into Clark. Yorkie has got to take his time, but how tempting is it when you're in this position? You know you've got the pace. How tempting it is just to push that little bit too hard at the wrong time. It is all about paces. He has a big old look on the inside of Paddock Hill Bend, but it would take an act of lunacy to try to pass there in the wet. But what he's also doing is he's making his presence very well known. I highly doubt that Johan's forgotten he's there, as Yorkie is a little bit deeper into Druids than Johan did. Down towards Graham Hill Bend once again. They were a couple of seconds apart, about 10 laps ago, but they have been nailed to one another for at least the last 5 laps or so. Through Surtees once more. And you saw actually there, Andrex said it again, Yorkie taking a much tighter line through Surtees than the Ferrari. I don't think it helped him. So whilst these two seem to have settled down at the moment, Wycont is getting ever closer to the back of the Audi of Maisie. That's what it looks like from the Porsche's perspective. He has seen this battle get ever bigger and bigger and bigger as he's gotten closer and closer, and Maisie will know that. Maisie's been piling the pressure on the Vernus. Vernus doing a pretty good job of holding it as the weird shadow effect just keeps going. Look at that. Maisie is less than 2 tenths, and there's now going to go side by side heading towards Hawthorne. Oh, this could be nasty. And Maisie, I think, wisely backed out of that one. He's going to try and switch back. It's not really a place to do it, but that's going to bring Rycombs right in with them. Oh, Maisie is... Oh, goodness me. He's lost time on the Ferrari, so he's made a bit of a mistake somewhere. Look out, Wycombe's, he's right with him now. We go on board with the Porsche. Now Maisie's got more defence work to do as he's kicked the tail out slightly at the exit of Sterling's. As you can see now, the Wycombs has got a lot of work to do to get past that Audi. This is an opportunity for Vernax now to get away and get into the distance. But with how close they've all been, Wycombs having a look at the inside. Oh my goodness me, Paddy Gilban decides better of that one. Lap times last time around 36.0 for Wycombs, 36.8 for Maisie, 36.4 for Vernax. So there is pace in that Porsche. He's just got to find the right time to use it, much like our lead two. The Yorkie has had this exact same conundrum. The Yorkie now, the Wycombe now finds trying to get past Maisie. Look at the Ferrari. Look at Maisie. That's 8 tenths now between himself and Vernax. Maisie, having to defend against the Porsche, is losing his battle against Vernax now. And that is Andreas Hayder that's just gone through the shop. So back markers we know can inadvertently change the course of a battle. They know to get out of the way, but it's not always possible. Oh, yes, well spotted, Mr. Andrex. Yorkie has made a big mistake somewhere. He's lost time and lost a big chunk of time. It's now 1.8 between himself and Yuhan. Oh, Popsu finds himself in a bit of a pickle. Popsu and Andreas Hayder. That is that three-way battle of Vernax, Maisie and Wycombs that is catching him quick. Now, as Andreas Hayder has got out of the way, let's hope he stays out of the way as everybody comes past them. It may not always be clear how many cars are bearing down on you. Wycombs has now got it all to do to try and get past as Vernax gets past Popsu. That'll be quite satisfying for him as Popsu was our winner last time around. And Popsu's got to stay well out of the way, which he does. And look how close the Porsche is to the Audi. But that's lost time for Vernax too, as Maisie's now catching up to him. Vernax has lost time trying to get through the back markers. I mean, the back markers did get out of the way, to be fair, but it does put you off your line, and in the wet, that is absolutely crucial as Wycombs has overshot Surtees. And look, cost him a little bit of time. Popsy can overtake if he so chooses to. Oh no, terrible snap of oversteer for Wycombs. Popsy's come through, and Popsy is more than likely going to relinquish that as he will be under blue flags, which he does. And Andreas Hayder is, of course, there to try and capitalise on that. Oops. That wasn't the car I was aiming for. And Yorkie's lost another second on Yuhan, or another half a second I should say, on Yuhan. He's made another mistake somewhere. As Yuhan continues on his way, Yorkie is now 2 seconds down. So he's overdriving. He's overdriving that BMW a little bit. Wycombs has lost a bit of time on Maisie, which he has. Now put Maisie straight back on Vernax's case. But we'll see how Wycombs is able to close that down, or if Wycombs is able to close that down, as we come around to complete lap 35. We have got 5 laps remaining. 5 laps to go here at Brands Hatch. As tends to happen, the battles really start to form towards the turn. And the races, Wycombs have gone very, very wide on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend. That's going to cost him a whole heap of time. He's now going to get back into his rhythm. That's Popsy that's gone through and he's inside. He'll let Wycombs go again, which he does. That's pretty much denied Wycombs getting involved in this battle, but Maisie keeps the pressure very much on that Ferrari ahead of him. They're just keeping on the lead battle. It's now 2.5 seconds. Yorkie may well have settled for that second position. He's still got time to close that down, but he may decide to settle for the spot. Let's keep an eye on Maisie then as he pushes on to try and do something with Vernax that's directly ahead of him. That's what it looks like from the Audi's perspective. They've gone through Hawthorne, through Westfield. Oh, I think Maisie may have gone a little deeper than he would have liked. Or there's simply a cautious way of taking that particular turn. Through Sheen. Keeping it nice and clean. You can see Wycombs in the background. He's beginning to pull away a bit from the Ferraris behind him. So he could close in a bit on these two. He's running out of laps to do it. Nismo had a mark on him then, but I think that was that's part of the bug. As soon as they get close to the pits, the game thinks he's close to someone, which you can see he is very clearly not. Maisie is back within 7/10 of Vernax. Vernax will be well aware of that Audi behind. Vernax was 3/10 quicker that last time around. It has not paid off a great deal. Coming through Graham Hill Bend. 7/10 still the gap between himself and Vernax. Vernax has got less than 4 laps now to hold on to keep that position. Yuhan is checking with our leaders now. Yuhan leads by over 2 seconds over Yorkie. Yorkie fell back a similar distance before, but he doesn't have as many laps as he did then to make that gap up as they come around to start lap 38. Third is Nismo. He has had a very lonely race for a very long time, and particularly when it's in the wet, I'm sure he would take that. As you can see, that I think is Mickersby behind him. Yes, it is behind him on track, but of course a lap down. Fourth is Vernax. As he gets slightly squirrely on the exit of Sterling's. That is Maisie back to half a second between himself and that Ferrari. The Audi of Maisie is in fifth, I beg your pardon. Wycombs is in 6th position. He's just under 3 seconds down from the Audi. Unless the Audi and the Ferrari come together, I think Wycombs may have to set off of that with just under 3 laps to go. Junior is 15 seconds down from Wycombs, 6.5 ahead of Rigor. He's pretty much on his own there, just coming through Clarkheath. Rigor in the white Merc in 8th. Hesto, blue Merc in 9. One tyre is 1.3. Well, he was 1.3. He's gained a bit on Hesto, and he was 2/10 up on his best. 34.8 from Warn Tyre. He's having a bit of a charge. He wants another position. He's currently in 10th, so he'll want to try and get that position off of the blue Merc. Tipple, we saw some great drives on him in 34.6. That's the pace he's got. He'll be kicking himself that he has had as many spins as he had. He's in 11th. Relo is in 12th, just coming over the line. Mickersby 13. That's Wycomb's Porsche already behind him. Popsu is 14, and Andreas Hayder is at the back of the field in 15th position. Warn Tyre is gaining on Hesto at a hell of a rate of knots. Oh, look at the battle here. It's closed in again. It's Maisie and Vernax. We've got 2 battles forming here. This is for 4th position and will be 4th and 9th. Oh, look at that. Maisie is all over the back of Vernax. He's only got 2 laps left to do it. No, I thought Yorkie had gained on Yuhan there, but that's 3.5 seconds. Oh, Maisie's gone very deep. And Druids, that's going to cost him time. And just behind them, Wycombs, I say just behind them, it's about 3 seconds down the road. Wycombs can only really hope that these two come together if he wants to gain their positions, I think. But he is clear of those behind him, so Wycombs in a relatively comfortable position. But Maisie is determined to get past Vernax, as he has been for so long. And nothing's going to happen into Hawthorne. Vernax will know how little of the race is left. They now come through Westfield towards Sheen. Now everyone keeping themselves fairly close together. Through Sterling's, heading down to start the final lap, which our leaders are on. Yuhan leads Yorkie by 4 seconds now. As Yuhan, Vernax and Maisie come around to start the 40th and final lap. Wycombs is 2.2 behind them. Let's watch them as they go. I'm just going to look on the map to see which one is Yuhan. It's that one, right? Just so I can see when he comes across the line. And Maisie still half a second behind the Ferrari. Vernox knows he just has to keep it clean, and he'll more than likely hang on to that position. Complacency can kill you as much as pushing too hard. Where is Yuhan? There he is. He's just coming around Clark. Your winner then. He's fended off the advances of the M6, but it's the Ferrari of Yuhan that takes the win here in the rain-soaked Brands Hatch Yorkie. A great drive, extends on his season best in that second position. That's Tipple behind. Third place is just coming through. No, sorry, third place is Nismo. Beg your pardon. He's still quite a way back. He's just come through Sterling's, but barely looked at Nismo all race long. As he then comes through Clark for the final time. The last podium position goes to Nismo in the Tiger Ferrari. Vernox is still fending off Maisie, but it looks like he's got it done unless he throws it away at Clark, which he doesn't do. Vernox then in fourth in the next Tiger Ferrari. Maisie 5, Wycombe 6 in the Porsche. Junior is just coming up to Clark Bennett. Whoops, not what I meant to do. I nearly clicked on OK then. So here comes Junior to come around Clark for the final time. Big old flash of the lights for 7th. Brygor with Hesto right in tow. Hesto and Warntire. Hesto did manage to fend off Warntire. That is 8th, 9th and 10th. Warntire rounding out the top 10. Tipple has already crossed the line. He's in 11th. Reload 12. He's around there somewhere. I don't think anyone doing any donuts, which is a bit of a shame. Bickersby in the Ferrari 13. Popsu finished in 14th. Andreas Hayder is the last man on track in 15th position. My throat has pretty much had it. I apologise wholeheartedly for the difficulties in the stream, but sadly the game does not make it easy for us commentators, as you have very clearly seen. It's a shame this hasn't been fixed. We can only hope that on the next one they will do so. But that concludes round number 4 here at Brands Hatch. I thank you so much for those that have been with us throughout this particular stream. It has been a great pleasure to commentate for you. And we will see you right here for more AOR action. Thank you very much, and good night.